Double Fries No Slaw Tuesday morning live show. Hey, before we even get rolling, I will tell you, you can call in on this thing if you want to. Nobody wanted to call in last week. Y'all were scared of Bama or something, but I'm sure there will be people that want to get some takes off this week. And if not, you guys can just sit here and listen to me ramble for 30 minutes. But yeah, I don't think I still don't think anybody's over this. I think that the fact that Florida State doesn't play anybody for really the next 3 weeks, like I'm not trying to disrespect an opponent, but East Texas State A&M or whatever the heck their name is, they got 17 names. I mean, that's not going to be a game. And then you've got a bye week, and then you've got Kent State, and they're rated, I mean, in the 130s of 136 FBS teams. And so it's just not, you know, the Virginia game on a Friday night, you certainly have. So it's kind of nice to just be able to revel in it and watch all these other teams play really tough teams after Florida State just took down a top 10 opponent in Doak. So I don't even feel bad for kind of basking in this. Also, I don't have to play. I don't have to go out there and, I mean, you don't either if you're watching this. You don't have to go, we don't have to go out and play. We can just kind of enjoy the win. So anyway, all that said, I don't think anybody's over it. I'm certainly not. I am still just so incredibly impressed at the way they played. Again, I said this Sunday, so I'm not, you know, you've already heard it, or maybe you didn't tune in, whatever. I just never expected us to be more physical, and I never expected us to be tougher. I thought we might try harder, because like any underdog that's playing in a game should try harder. Like you should, you know, like that's just how that should work. So that doesn't really surprise me. But being more physical, being tougher, like I thought we'd have to get gimmicky. I thought we would have to have, I mean, how many trick plays were there? I mean, there was the reverse. I mean, people run reverses every week. Like, that's not really a trick play to me. A wheel route is not a trick play. It's just a well-designed play. They didn't have to even get that creative. I mean, they were creative. Gus did a good job. That's not me saying anything negative there. But they didn't even have to get, like, that much in their bag. I wonder how much, once they got up and they knew that the game was more than likely in hand, right? It was never really over until you got that fourth down stop. But I wonder how much Gus really has left. And I hope that Mike tells him that we're playing Alabama the next 11 weeks. Because whatever happens to Gus Malzahn when he sees Alabama is just a different level of, I don't know. He just sees. We did the hater video. So I'm sure if you're watching this right now, you watched the hater video yesterday. If you didn't, you should go check it out. But in that, what's the guy's name? Chip from Cover 3 does that with Bud and Danny. Said, like, this was before the game, but he was talking about, like, well, maybe Gus just goes Neo from the Matrix and sees green and turns into a superhero. Said that like in jest, like obviously joking, and ended up being pretty right about that. So yeah, I hope Mike tells Gus that it's Bama every single week, at least for the big games, at least for Miami, at least for Clemson, and at least for Florida. What's really nice about this schedule is you look at the rest of it, and there's not now, talent alone doesn't matter, right? We saw that last year. Somebody just mentioned that. You know, it's kind of what we were expecting to play like last year. Talent doesn't matter. Florida State had a top 15 talent profile last year. And so Bama being a talented team doesn't make them a good team. But you won't play another team with that much talent on the other sideline. Like, you just won't. I think Miami's really good. I think that's going to be a very tough game. I think Clemson will rebound. I think Florida has a chance to be really good. There are good teams you play. I thought Virginia Tech kind of held their own defensively against South Carolina in the first half. Like, there are tough games. Going on the road and playing on Friday nights is not easy. You got to do that in Raleigh. You got to do that in Charlottesville. I don't think Pittsburgh is going to be a super easy game. I don't think you just roll everybody for the rest of the year because you played really, really well against Alabama. But again, you're not going to play another team for the rest of the year. For 11 more weeks, you're not going to play a team with as much talent as Alabama had. Are they going to be tougher? And that's, I'm not predicting 12-0. That's not my take, right? Like, Florida State will lose multiple games this year. I'd love to be wrong on that. So somebody timestamp it and check, because I'd love you to old takes expose me there. But they're going to have tough games, and they're probably going to lose a couple of games or more. but they're not going to play a team that's that talented. And so what's nice is we went from thinking, well, could they even compete every week to, yeah, they should compete every single week. Are they going to win every week? Probably not, but they should compete every week. And I certainly didn't think that 3-4 days ago. A good question. Is FSU that good or is Bama that bad? Or a little bit of both? I mean, I do think it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, as an FSU fan, you want Bama to go 11-1 now. I mean, you absolutely want them to win as many games as possible. And I know that might be a little gross having to cheer for Bama. Yeah, it'd be great to see them lose to a Wisconsin and lose to Georgia and lose to – no, I mean, you kind of want – I mean, I'm not a big fan of this mindset of, oh, you cheer for your rivals, so it's a bigger win when you beat them. Now, I want bad things for Miami and Florida every week. Like there's, it's like when they play each other in a few weeks, I wish they could both lose, right? But – once you beat a team, like you absolutely want them to keep winning. If somebody asked me that this morning, if do I want Bama to go, rebound so it's good for us, or do I want them to lose out? If we win 10 games, I want Bama to have had a good year. If we win 8 or 9, then I don't think we're getting the playoff anyway. I'd be fine with Bama just cratering. Maybe that helps in recruiting in some aspects. But you're undefeated until you're not. And so I do think that's you want Bama to have a good year. I'd love for them to go into Athens and beat Georgia. That'd be great for Florida State. I think I'm going to that game, day after Virginia. So anyway, good question there, Florida bass fishing tips. All right, Blake brought this up. Yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about the most today. The mindset in Tallahassee. And again, there is a call-in available. Harlan, can you throw that link in the bottom? Give me just a second. Let me read this real quick. All right, let's do this. Let's start that over because I might clip this, Harlan. We'll see. But the mindset is so much different in Tallahassee right now. The way that Mike looked on the sideline last year, he looked like a kicked puppy dog. We've talked about that a million times, and I don't want to keep bringing it up last year. I get it. But then you had the way that he got up there at ACC kickoff and was, I don't know, different than I've ever seen him. I've never thought that Mike, he did that in his opening press conference. And I had people asking me, and Richie and I talked about it on here. I had people asking me, like, why do you think he was doing that? And I was like, man, I just think he was trying to energize the fan base, trying to get them back behind him, trying to speak that confidence into his team. Whatever. Like, he has some kind of motivation. Maybe he knew. Maybe he knew that they actually cared. Maybe he knew that they actually gave a crap this season. Maybe he knew that this game was going to be a little closer than what everybody else predicted. And listen, I don't know. It's easy to have hindsight be in 2020, and it's easy to say, hey, we knew that was going to happen. I mean, I don't know, man. It's easy to say that now. But Mike's mindset after the game and saying, frankly, I was pissed that we didn't score more is pretty remarkable. Like, that's really good. And that's the kind of attitude I think you have to have because, now Florida State had a chance. They knelt the ball down. They could have gone, they could have gone for it, though I'm glad that they didn't. Just take your win and get out. But yeah, I like the mindset. Yeah, there were a couple of times we got stopped. A couple of times we had to punt. A couple of times we didn't convert on third down. Not very much. What did we punt? 3 times? None in the first half? And I think really in the fourth quarter, it was kind of just like run the ball a couple of times and let's get out of here. But man, I love that mindset. Like, and I was talking with Harlan about this before we jumped on. Listen, I don't want to say that Saturday erased 2-10 because it still happened. It'll still be in the back of everybody's minds. If they go out and drop a game to Virginia or get embarrassed by Miami or lose to Pittsburgh, that doubt will start to creep back in. But I don't really think people even remember last year in this moment. Now, it's always going to be in the back of your mind. You're always going to remember it. You're always going to think about, man, could it happen next year? Could this happen? But man, what a difference a week makes. And I think the mindset is everything. And it truly does. Like I'm not so into like, oh, well, this coaching thing or this, that. I mean, at the end of the day, players win games. But the mindset of your coach, and frankly, I thought a lot, I'll admit this. Yeah, whatever. I'll be pretty transparent or vulnerable, whatever you call it here. I think the mindset of your coach does make a pretty big deal. And I thought a lot of what Norvell was saying through the offseason was just coach speak that you were supposed to say. Hey, we're tough. We're putting that behind us. We're excited about that. Blah, 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 blah. I thought a lot of that was what he was doing. And to his credit, he wasn't wrong. It just was hard to believe anything that he was saying after a 2-10 season, after we heard what they said going into 2024. And so I wrote a lot of what he said off. But his mindset, the biggest credit that I can give to Mike Norvell is that his mindset absolutely never changes. Did his mood on the sidelines last year, did the way that he looked sure, all of that. His mindset never changes. The way that he approaches a day-to-day, a preparation, an execution standpoint, like none of that ever changes. Even last year when we sucked, none of that ever really changed with him. He still put in the work. You knew that he just wanted to get to the end of the season. But again, to come out and after you dog walk a top 10 team to literally say, I'm pissed that we didn't score more. That is what you want. That's also how you win back favor with a fan base who, let's be honest, most of you wanted him gone after last year. And understandably, you would have wanted Bobby Bowden gone had he gone 2-10 in his 4th year, 5th year, whatever it was. Right? Like that's not even really that surprising of a thing. So I do think that the mindset that Norvell has carried over to the team. And we talked about this. They were tougher. They were more physical. They were the team that frankly deserved to win. Let me turn this outstage feeds off, Harlan. Frankly deserved to win. And it wasn't even close, right? So I like Norvell's mindset. I like what he said. I like the way the team played. And happy to hear from some of you guys on this as well. Let's give Sleeper some love real quick, Harlan, and then I will get Matthew on. Matthew, we'll get to you in just a second. Listen, let me tell you guys about Sleeper for just a second. What you can see here is I've got my phone pulled up, and I'm rolling through some of it. Let's take a look here. If you think you know football, then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Download the Sleeper app and pick more or less with your favorite players with stats and more stats than any other daily fantasy app. You choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 100 times your money. Use promo code DFNS and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. What I like about this, if you guys are looking at the screen share right there, is I really like how you can, you can do a bunch of stuff in here. You can not only pick the more or lesses, which I just did on that one. You can see stats. There's comments and stuff. You just saw that. Yeah. The Bama guy flicking off the middle finger. I like the way that it's more interactive than just like any other daily fantasy or whatever. There's a lot of I was complaining about the ESPN score app this week because it sucks. You can go in here and just check your scores and wager on it while you're in there. So I do like the Sleeper app a ton for that. I like the fact that you can literally comment on the plays that are happening and other people can see it. The best thing about YouTube or social media or anything else is the comment section always. It's never what I say. It's the comment section. And the fact that Sleeper lets you do that like on these big plays, imagine if ESPN or one of these other sites could catch on to this. And when you were checking the ESPN app, you could see the Bama fans melting down in real time because they're commenting on the app. That was phenomenal. So the Sleeper app, go download it. Whether use the promo code DFNS when you sign up and get some money. Whether you ever place one or not, download it so you can see the people freaking out when their teams are losing. Because I was scrolling through there on Saturday after our game and watching the Clemson LSU comments, watching all that. And not only are people mad because their team is losing, they're mad because they're losing money because they all bet on their teams and stuff. So Sleeper app, appreciate them for their support. Really good stuff. And yeah, you can make some money. We'll do live picks on Wednesday night for anything that might be in the FSU game. I don't know if there will be anything in the FSU game, so maybe we'll pick Cowboys Eagles. I don't know if they'll offer lines for FSU versus East Texas A&M. So maybe we'll pick the Cowboys Eagles game. That would be the next night. So live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Hope to see you there. All right, we had Matthew on a second ago, but I don't see him now. So Matthew, if you come back in, you are more than welcome to hang out. Harlan, if you could, I don't know if I put the sleeper logo there on the very top right-hand corner of the callers thing. So if you could throw that up there at some point. I just can't see. My eyes aren't good enough. What else we got? I'll go through some comments since we lost Matthew, but anybody else that wants to call in, the link is down there at the bottom of the screen. Rockwell, I was hoping we beat the brakes off Alabama, and I mean, we clicked on all cylinders. We look damn good. Love it. Knowles Nation. Yeah, I agree 100%. What's up, guys? Finally bringing myself to eat crow. Congrats on the win and wish y'all a good season. Toast, I appreciate that. Listen, I think Bama fans are incredibly frustrated by the way they play, but I do think they're a little bit, impressed or congratulatory. I think it was so much of Toast, tell me if I'm wrong on this or not, but I think it was such a shock for Bama fans. Like, and it was a shock for us too. People were texting me through the game or after when I saw stuff after the game, and I was just like, man, I'm in shock. I don't even know what to say. My wife texted me and said like, hey, are we really going to do this? I didn't even text her back till after the game. I was like, I ain't jinxing this. Like, you'll figure it out until I get back. I was not. My best friend Cameron and just other people were messaging me, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not texting any of y'all back. Like, let's get through this game. Some of y'all know. Yeah, the one person I texted back. So I'll go back to the Bama comment in a minute. But some of y'all know I've been on some medication. Haven't been drinking for quite a while, and not in recovery or anything like that. But just haven't been drinking, and so I texted my dermatologist, and I said, who's a big Gator fan, and I said, if we win this game, if we hold on, I am absolutely taking a shot of Fireball. Like, that's just, it's been however many months, and she was like, DJ, don't do it. And I said, I don't care, I'm doing it. And she said, all right, it's fine. If you just do one, it's fine. So that's the one person I texted just to make sure that I wouldn't die from taking one shot. So the shot ended up happening, obviously. But Toast, yeah, I appreciate the love. I think FSU fans should be cheering for Bama. I mean, I do hope you guys turn it around. I thought Bama did some things well, but yeah, and it's just certainly not good enough the other day. But appreciate you for eating the crow. Listen, I ate the crow too. I don't know if you saw it or not, Toast, but I called myself out in yesterday's video that we put out. And so, listen, I was as wrong as you were, buddy. So I appreciate you having the guts to jump up here and say it. Running quarterback was a good deal. I thought they called it really well. I thought Malzahn, I mean, he does something about Y'all's Crimson. He sees, no pun intended, he sees red when that Crimson's out the other side. So, I'm not so surprised by the running quarterback. I am pretty surprised that Bama just didn't look like they cared to be there. And that is just not something you expect from an Alabama team. Harlan, do we have Austin down there? Did I see Austin jump in? Austin jumped out too. Listen, we've had two people jump in, and then I guess I just don't shut up fast enough. But all right, there's Austin. Maybe this will work this time. Let's see if we can get him on here. Austin, give us just a sec. I think Harlan's got to add you to the scene, and then we'll be good. Can you hear me?
Yep. Hello? Can you hear me?
What up, man?
What's going on, TJ? How's it going?
I'm good. You still riding high?
Always, man. Always. It's a good weekend. I got to watch the Nose win, and I'm back at work, so it's a great weekend.
Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't, man. I'm from South Carolina, so I still haven't been to a Nose game yet.
Dude, you got to get down. You got to get down. Or just meet us in Clemson, bro.
I'm thinking about it. I'm from Columbia, so I'm thinking about it. So.
Dude, my best man at my wedding is Hugh. Well, he's not from Columbia, but he's a huge game. I think he lived out in like Florence area, kind of close to the beach. But huge Gamecocks fan, and I'd like to go to a game up there for sure.
Great environment. Definitely should come up. I'm hoping they join the SEC.
Yeah, for real. Then we'll get all these fun games all the time. Where'd you watch from? Did you just watch from home, or did you go to a bar? What'd you do?
So we have family over here. We hosted. No, actually, that was Sunday. Actually, I was at my niece's birthday party, and so we sung "Happy Birthday," and I ran upstairs at 3:30.
That was good enough, man. She don't really care if you're there or not. Man.
Nah, man, 1 year old, man. So she didn't even know.
Dude, I feel like there were so many things to be impressed with, but if you had to pick, this is a really hard question. So
Mhm.
you don't get to come in here and just get softballs from me. What were you most impressed by? That's the hardest question of the weekend to me.
What was I most impressed by? I would say, so from coming from me, I didn't believe in the 3-3 or Gus's offense. So
Mm.
to me, the whole day was impressive because I was the diehard believer of I didn't believe in the 3-3. I thought we were a 4-3 team, and I just heard Gus's offense was kind of gimmicky. And watching UCF, I didn't believe in it. So I would say linebacker play was probably one of the most impressive for me, and then watching us move the ball up and down the field and not having that many 3-and-outs. I would say those two. Oh, and kicking.
Dude, so I got so nervous when I think the play clock was running out and Weinberg made the first kick and then we
Mm-hmm.
called the timeout. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to miss this. Like, there's no
Right.
chance he makes this again. But shout out to the kid, man. He went and got it done. I thought we punted fairly well, as well. So, yeah, special teams, didn't love the way we returned punts or didn't catch them or got, muffed or whatever. But outside of that, I thought special teams really good. It's kind of nice. I was talking about this earlier. I don't know how long you've been on, but it's kind of nice to also have like some relaxing stuff ahead. Like not
Yeah.
like even if we had like a USF next weekend, right? Like that
Mm.
would be kind of a like, all right, well, you got to get up for it, right? Because
Right.
but it is really nice to just have a couple of absolute cupcakes and
No, I agree. We're on autopilot for like the next 2 weeks, I think. So we get to watch everybody else. Like it was even great watching the Miami and Notre Dame game this past week and not having to be on edge like, oh, are they gonna win? Because we already won. So I mean, it was just like you were able to sit back and relax. So the next 2 weeks are gonna be kind of not boring, but just I'm gonna be watching everybody else the next 2 weeks probably.
yeah, got one game, then a bye, then another
Mm.
game, and then the UVA on Friday night. You win that UVA on Friday night, it's like 4 relaxing Saturdays in a row.
Yes,
You
and I
know?
would say, did you hear like the comment that Ernie Sims I think said? I think about like the perfume, like they told the
Oh,
team.
BMAC.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
Brian McFadden. Yeah, that
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. I don't
really
know why I thought it
good.
was Ernie. Yeah, B Mac.
Um, I don't know if we could get it fast enough. No, we're off here in a couple of minutes. But I was gonna say, we could play that real quick. Harlan, I don't know if you saw that clip or not. And again, I know that'd be a lot to ask you to grab real quick. But basically, Brian McFadden was in the locker room and after the game, for those that haven't seen this yet, and he said, "Listen, everybody's going to be singing your praises. Everybody's going to say how good you are. Everybody's going to." Spray you with all this perfume and you can smell that perfume, but don't drink it because
Mm.
as soon as you do, it's poison. They will. I mean, it's kind of like what Nick Saban used to say about rat poison. Like you once you start listening to other people's praises, all these people that are high on FSU, they hated you last year, and they should have, right? Like you sucked, but
Mm.
they're. I asked Mike about that a few years ago, and just asked like, hey, what are before 2023 when I saw him in Tampa, I said, hey, is it nice to be able to tell your team like, hey, see, now other people think we're good and it's not just us? And he was like, not really, because they all said we sucked a couple of years ago. That's not exactly how he said it, but he was like, not really. I've been telling them we've been good for a couple of years. It was just taking a little bit of time to get there. He was like, I don't care what anybody else says. I just care about what our internal expectations are. And that's all that really matters to me. It doesn't matter to me that now ESPN thinks we're good or now this new program thinks we're good or whatever. I just care about what we think. And so, McFadden kind of said the same thing there. So I really like
Yeah.
that clip too.
I liked it. I feel like I saw like the whole team locked in. Like you could tell they really believed it. Like it's not like the last year where I think, or a couple years ago where they get into their head. Because I feel like I don't know why I feel like FSU always plays better when they're the underdog, but then when they're on top, it seems like we always take a step back. Like they have to get ramped up. So I really feel like they were locked in, and then that comment kind of helped make me think like, okay, maybe this will be, maybe they'll stay level headed for the whole season. So I'm feeling good about the rest of the season right now.
Yeah, and I think they can carry that underdog mentality because sure they won one big game, but they haven't arrived, right? Like they go out
Right.
and drop the ball, then people are still going to question and wonder. And though they're even getting some of that perfume that BMAC was talking about, like I still think. I mean, Tommy doesn't just immediately, oh, you beat Bama. Nobody like. People are going to still say like, oh, we got benched at Boston College or this, or it was just one game and blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. Like Florida State's still like an underdog for the season. They're still
Yeah.
not. I think the ACC odds are still there like fourth or fifth. They're
Right.
still behind Clemson. They're still behind Miami. They're still behind Louisville. I'd imagine they're still behind Georgia Tech. They might be fifth, And so now you
Mm.
go out and beat Miami, you're probably going to jump up to like second. But, they got a long way to go before. I mean, they're still not, the playoffs happen today. I don't think they're getting in,
No.
so they still got work to do. And so, yeah, I'm in complete agreement there. I don't think it's smell your roses too much or perfume, as BMAC said. I do think they'll play inspired. I think it's pretty. You mentioned them, playing up against good competition. I mean, I think that's pretty normal. I think teams play up when they play good teams, and then
Mm.
they have a tendency to relax. It's very rare that teams don't do that. 2013 FSU never did that, right?
Mm.
2019 LSU didn't really do that. There are some teams that can get over it, but man, even games where. Yeah, even 2023, we played down to BC. I thought we played down to Miami,
Right. Right.
because those teams weren't very good. But
Mm.
but then in the big games, we played up to Clemson, we played up to LSU, we played up against Louisville. So yeah, I think that's pretty normal for teams, and the truly elite teams cannot have those mistakes. Even Georgia won the SEC last year. Man, they should have lost to Kentucky. That was 2 years ago. They should have lost to Kentucky. They should have lost to Tennessee. Like teams played down. So. I think
Yep.
that's pretty normal, but if they can find a way to not do that, then we'll have a pretty good fall, man.
Right. Right.
Austin, I
Even
appreciate. Do you have one more thing?
Oh yeah, this is one thing, man. I was just gonna say, even like the media, you can see like the media does not even buying in, which I don't want them to, but they're not talking about how good Florida State played. They're talking about how bad Alabama is. So I think that'll keep that chip going. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna hold you, man. Thanks for letting me come on, and have a good day.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Yeah, he's right. The storylines coming out of this thing, from a national perspective, are very much how Bama blew this thing. And yeah, I mean, that is one side of it. That is half the story. There's no doubt that is part of the storyline of this. But the bigger story to me, and Bama's a bigger, for the last 20 years, they've been the team of the sport. So, I mean, I get it. I hate to say somebody's a bigger brand than Florida State, but I mean, you see what I'm saying on that. Like, they've been the team for the last 20 years. But the bigger story to me is that Florida State punched Bama in the mouth and Bama didn't respond. And most times when Bama gets punched in the mouth, or any great team, they do respond fairly well. Like Georgia got punched in the mouth last year. Texas got punched in the mouth last year. Ohio State got punched in the mouth last year against Michigan. Like Notre Dame got punched in the mouth. Like that happens. Ohio State or Penn State got punched in the mouth. They responded well. Like the bigger story to me is Alabama looked interested in the first quarter, in the first drive, and then they got hit and they quit. And so it's not so much just about Alabama being bad. It's the fact that somebody had to hit them in the mouth, right? Like they didn't just come in sucking. They were kind of soft and didn't respond well to adversity. And so, well, what caused that adversity? Well, it was Florida State. So that's the other half of the story. So I kind of agree with him on just the idea that the narrative around this is more about Alabama being bad than Florida State being good. You go out and go into that Miami game 4-0 and you win that Miami game, the narrative will cease to be about other teams being bad, 100%. I was a little bit worried after Florida State won, not that I was cheering for the Canes on Sunday night, but I was a little bit worried that Notre Dame would go in there and beat them, and then Florida would go in there and beat them, and you'd have a 4-0 Florida State team and a 2-2 Miami team, and the win wouldn't mean very much, right? It would be like, well, you beat them, but it's a rivalry, and they're not very good. They're 2-2, whatever. I'm certainly not happy when Miami or Florida wins, but I'm less upset about the fact that Miami beat Notre Dame. And truth be told, I hope they beat Florida too, so that we get game day and it's a 4-0 versus 4-0. That's all I got on that. All Dubs also in Columbia. Rocco Will. Wonder how bum-ass Stephen A. and Paul Feinbaum feel. Yeah, I saw the haters yesterday. Love your show. Go Knowles. Did you see the Feinbaum, Stephen A. Smith? So I haven't watched it yet, just busy yesterday. I am going to watch the Feinbaum show from yesterday. I saw one clip, the legend or whatever his name is. That was hilarious. Did you see Stephen A. Smith go on for like 2 minutes about like how this is unacceptable? And then he named all our guys. He named Lucas, he named Sawchuk, he named Holmes, he named Castellanos, obviously. Stephen A. Smith was about to blow a gasket. If you haven't seen that clip yet, you should certainly go find it on social media. Not last year. It was always we did Amazing Saturday, but You have others say we only did good because Alabama was bad. Yeah, I agree, man. Alabama was they still did some things really well. Like they did, but certainly not well enough in the trenches. Where are we going to be ranked? That's a quick question. So this is the problem with preseason rankings. Do people just slot you up a couple of spots because you won a big game? Or do they kind of reevaluate now that we have actual data to go on? And that's certainly the way you should do it. I saw Brett McMurphy ranked Florida State at 8th. Do I think Florida State's the 8th best team in the country? No, I don't. Do I think they have one of the best wins in the country? Absolutely. Do I think that if you're doing it based on how good you think a team is, do I think Florida State's a top 10 team in the country? I don't know that I'm ready to buy that just yet. Were they a top 10 impressive team through 1 week of the season? Absolutely. They might have been the most impressive team through 1 week in the season. LSU would be up there. Miami would be up there. Ohio State would be up there. Yeah, would USF be up there? I know Boise's not quite the same thing, but there's some other TCU would be up there. They looked really good. Auburn would be up there. They looked really good. But I don't know that Florida State's a top 10 team in the country. I do think they were one of the 10 most impressive teams. I think Florida State should be ranked around 15 or 16 is kind of where I would slot them in. I still think you'd put even some of the teams that lost. I'd probably keep Texas ahead of them. I'd probably keep Clemson ahead of them for now. I'd probably keep, who else? Notre Dame ahead of them. And then, Georgia's going to be ahead for sure. LSU, all these teams that won will be ahead. And then when you get down to it, you think, okay, where would you slot Florida State? I would be in the top 20. I think any ranked position would be fine because if you just get ranked, if you're like 23rd, you're going to win or you're not going to lose the next 3 weeks. And you really shouldn't lose that 4th week either against Virginia. So you should be 4-0, which would set up about a top 15-ish matchup against Miami, if I had to guess. So rankings don't really matter right now. They certainly don't matter preseason. They really don't matter going into week 2. But I do think Florida State will be ranked, and I'd be pretty surprised if they're not after the way they looked. But we'll see, man. These are random sports writers voting on things, and who knows what they'll end up doing. But anyway, all right. Let me look back through the comments real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Appreciate you guys. 23-ish. All right, Leah, before we go, give me where you think FSU's ranked today. Let's do that. Everybody tuned in. 170 some people. Appreciate you guys for tuning in on a Tuesday morning. We will do this live every Tuesday morning. But do me a favor and just comment real quick in this live show where you think FSU will be ranked. I just want to see what you guys' vibe is while I take another sip of coffee. You guys like this? Is this coffee mug too much? Is this Disneyland? It's it's a little bit girly, but it'll be all right. It just holds the coffee. Dude, look at Harlan at 5th. Harlan, you're not allowed to talk after your score prediction last week. 13, 16, 17, 15, 5th. You're a psycho. 25th. 25th would piss me off a little bit. All right, give me a little bit better than 20. Give me at least Kobe's number on that. 20 for Rock. 20, 19. Can't wait to see you in Raleigh. Thorne, my man, I am going to Raleigh. I'm excited for that. I got a friend that I was trying to get to go with me to Raleigh, and they said they couldn't go. 17, somewhere between 20 and 25. Look at the few who are grateful. Just wanted to say I predicted to win 38-7. Sorry, can't read in the Discord. Go Noles. Hey, I appreciate that. Anybody that's not over in the Discord, you should come over and hang out real quick. We have a good time. Trent says 44. Fitzgerald has 18. I think we are going to kick the you-know-what out of NC State. I do believe with that. Jason says, sorry, 5. 5 would be high. I don't think it'll be that high. I think the highest they'll go is like 15. I'd love to be wrong with that, but 15 would be impressive. That'd be a pretty big jump. And now Harlan's going unranked because I called him out for saying that, called him out for his score prediction. So, hey, just really quickly, I know, listen, you know what I like? Dude, we might do a tailgate for NC State. We'll just have to kind of see how that works. I won't be able to take the Double Fries tent that we had down there for Alabama, but we might be able to do a tailgate. We'll see. It's a night game, so we may not need the tent. Just really quickly, like I won't do this super long. Hey, what I'd like you guys to do real quick. What I really like is when people say where they're from. So if you guys, I'm going to do a quick shout out, and if you guys could just tell me where you're from, and there's a reason I'm doing this real quick. Harlan, if you throw locks up real quick, actually I see it right here. I can do it. But tell me where you guys are watching from. But if you're in Tallahassee or Panama City or anywhere close, make sure you reach out to Locks AC. Make sure that you do support them. I understand that we are getting out of like the hottest time of year, but there's still a little bit left of that. And so make sure that if your AC goes out, you need a tune up, you have any questions, want a free estimate, want some information, want a 10-year warranty, all those things, make sure you reach out to Locks. Appreciate them for their support. That's all I got. Okay, dude, Harlan, get out of here. Greenville, South Carolina, Sea Level, North Carolina. We've got Columbia, South Carolina. That's probably Austin again. Cocoa. I got a friend that goes to Cocoa often. Panama City Beach, Lakeland, Tampa. Shout out the Central Florida folks, Tampa and Lakeland and all that. Where else we got? Pensacola, home of Derek Brooks. It's where he's originally from. Derek down here in Tampa now, so we stole him from you. The coffee mug does not need any coffee. Just look at the graphics, and that will pick you up going to holes. All right, let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys hanging out this morning. We'll have a lot more coming out this week. And again, we'll do this every Tuesday. I know next Tuesday is not going to be as hyped. I know that you're not going to be that excited after East Texas A&M, but this is a great way to avoid work, avoid your morning meetings, avoid whatever you got going on. And so come back and hang out with us next Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. We'll be live tomorrow night. Again, how much are we previewing East Texas A&M? I don't know, but we'll have a lot of fun anyway. So come hang out with us, and we appreciate you guys. As always, we'll talk to you soon. Go Noles.